Morning, everybody. This is it. This is the sequel to Spirits and Ghosts, Part 2. I'm re-recording this. I'm really sorry. Again, the last one, the sound didn't come through on the video, and now I'm using a studio mic. It's a loaner, just to see if we can cure this problem. And I got another microphone to go with my cell phone, so when I do selfie stick videos, I should be able to get a much better sound quality out of that. Or if we do another campfire video, which was a lot of fun. Anyhow, all of this content that I'm producing for YouTube is just me talking about my experiences and my sensitivities and how they've changed in some cases, and how I experience a world greater than five senses. I guess the I find that very limited, the way people think about things, and people are afraid to talk, and maybe by me opening up, other people will share stuff and start to look at their life from a different lens, one that includes psychic phenomenon and ethereal energies, and maybe the influence of guardian angels, or maybe the influence of negative energies that they're allowing into their life. Anyhow, this is me talking about it, and that's all I got. You guys do what you want with it. If you don't believe me, you don't trust me, you think it's all made up bullshit, then that's okay. I don't mind. For me, it's real. Anyhow, I got two stories to share today, and they're very personal, and I have to try to navigate that without making other people feel exposed or vulnerable. So here goes. We're going back in time. It's Monday, November, the last Monday in November 2011, and of course right now it's 2026, so that's 15 years ago. Okay, moving right along. I was worried that I hadn't spoken to my father in about a week, which was unusual since we spoke often. Or more accurately, he called, I listened, and then I struggled to speak to whatever issue he was having. Turns out I mirror really well. I only just realized what that actually means. You kind of do it for a lot of time, then you look at your behavior and you go like, oh, what the hell am I doing? Anyways, I was doing it subconsciously for most of my life, mirroring people. And I wish I had learned about it long ago. It would have saved me a lot of trouble. And I think it's a skill that has a place, but sometimes it can be seen as disingenuous or false because you're representing someone else's opinion and thoughts, not necessarily your own, which is what mirroring is. Anyhow, when my dad would phone me, I'd mirror back to him. So our relationship was really good, but I'm not sure how authentic it was. Anyhow, on that particular Monday morning, I was filled with anxiety, and I didn't have a cohesive dread to it, but I felt compelled to call my father and check in on him first thing in the morning. And his phone line, because we still had phone lines then, it went to answering machine, and I left a message. Hey, Dad, just your son calling, wondering what you're up to. Call me back when you get this message. I hope you're not lying on the floor dead or anything. And who leaves a message like that? It's not funny, and I don't know where it came from. Anyways, I hung up the phone, and had a lot more anxiety show up after that, kind of dread. Waited a little bit, called him back, and my father lived 600 kilometers away from me. I didn't have a number for the neighbor, and he lived alone at that point. So I didn't even have anybody I could say, hey, can you go check on him? I didn't even have a key to his house. Anyways, the rational brain steps in. He's the healthiest old guy I know. He's a healthy weight. He's active. He's fit. Eats organic food all the time. No drinking, no smoking. Psychic told him he'd live another 20 years. So I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, get over it. He's probably out golfing. No big deal. Anyhow, I kept worrying. I called my sister and asked her, did you talk to Dad lately? And she said, don't worry. So I went to work, which takes me away from home for about a day and a half, and I get home and I try to call my father, still no answer, no call back from him, and I'm starting to, like, the anxiety's really starting to get, like, when you pace around and you can't settle. Anyhow, I call my sister again. She has no insight, still not concerned, and she was actually quite dismissive of my misplaced anxiety because I didn't really have a cause for it. The behavior wasn't that much out of the ordinary for my father. Anyhow, I fidget, I stress, I go back to work, I try to put it out of my mind, but I know something's wrong. I just know it. I know it in my heart. There's something wrong, and nobody's listening to me. And anyways, on Friday of the week, um, talking to my sister again, and she says, "Okay, okay, I'll call the police." She called the police and got a wellness check. Anyhow, they found his body on the kitchen floor, a bowl of oatmeal and blueberries and yogurt partially eaten on the table. He was 4 feet from the phone, and he'd been dead for about 5 days. The coroner investigated his death because it was anomalous. Anyhow, after that, life got ugly. You go through a lot of stuff when you lose a parent, and a bunch of relationships fell apart badly. How did I know the moment he died? I even had a strong insight about what had happened and what the scene of his demise would look like. Why didn't I trust that instinct? That's the takeaway from that particular moment in my life. Why didn't I trust that instinct and just get in my car and drive down and see my father? Find out what was going on. Because clearly I knew something was wrong. Why didn't I have some kind of precognition that there was a problem? Like, he was concerned about his health, but he was worried about his prostate. And I could have said, "Hey, Dad, like, have you checked your heart? Because I got a really bad feeling about your heart." And nothing. Like, there's a wall there. Why get a psychic email like, "Hey, I died"? What good is that? Anyway, so I went away from that experience with a lot of different questions about psychic abilities and connections between people, particularly family members. And I also wondered what the other thing that really bothered me is I looked up to my sister at the time and I couldn't understand why she didn't have any similar insights like I had. Like, why wasn't she worried? Why didn't she get the memo? Why didn't she get the little psychic email that, hey, this happened? I don't know. But it caused me a lot of time to uh, reflect on the nature of gifts and their validity, to be honest with you. Like, I still to this day know I knew exactly what happened. I got a recording on his answering machine to back it up. So that's, if you want proof, that's all I got. Anyhow, my father, as a spirit, over the ensuing years, has come back to chat. Not to me, although I certainly sense his presence at times. Like I said, I don't speak to spirits when I'm awake. Occasionally, I sense a presence that I attribute to a spirit being there. But during a subsequent to his death, I went for a Reiki session, and the Reiki master, after the treatment, ghost writes from what she picks up, and he came through with messages for me. During that session, I also had some powerful past life experiences come through, which I'll cover later, different video. Anyhow, moving right along. My father's spirit has communicated to other members of our family, either directly or based on their levels of receptivity or through a secondary psychic medium. So I know he's fine. So what I got there now is the body dies, the spirit is free, transitions into an ethereal realm peacefully, and afterwards, and I understand that there's probably no such thing as time on the other side, but anyways, there's a delay, and they're able to come back and interact. The messages that come through are always loving, sometimes asking for forgiveness and offering blessings or insights. And this is why I have that hard distinction between ghosts and spirits. Ghost energy is selfish, angry, confused, hostile, bitter, frightened, maybe terrified. Spirits are chill. They're loving, supportive, at peace, gentle. They've released that karmic energy. Maybe that's another aspect to this, that the ghosts are hanging on to the karmic energy even though they're not physical anymore. and spirits have released it. There's a huge energy difference there from my perspective. As a separate little side story, as an aside, when I'm out in my workshop building stuff, sometimes the ex-owner of this house, the guy who built this house, comes around and helps me in spirit form, and I have to rely on a sensitivity. I think because I'm in a creative space, I can pick things up better, and it's not like I can hear voices, but I just somehow don't screw things up as much when he's there helping me try to figure out how to build something, and like I fabricate furniture and artwork and stuff. So it, it's woodwork and metalwork and sculpture and welding and stuff. So anyways, he was a wonderful creative guy, and he had lots of those skills, and it's really nice having him around. Like I thank him for his help and honor that. Anyhow, so the second story that I want to share, and this one's more weirdness. In 2020, another male family member that had been battling cancer for years, sitting with him in a convalescent home. The pandemic is ravaging the world outside, and cancer is ravaging him on the inside. And he's facing it as bravely as anyone could hope. Anyhow, after the visit, he gets tired, and as I get up to leave, he looks at me to say goodbye, and our eyes lock, and you get this locked glance, and I don't really know what's happening, but it feels like there's some contract between us now. We've set some level of a bond between us, and it's like his soul has spoken to my soul and said, "You're going to be there when I go, aren't you? Got my back, buddy?" Anyway, about a week later, I'm away from home, sleeping in our bunkhouse. We stay in bunkhouse when I'm away from home, and I'm having a lucid dream. And in that dream, my arms and legs are going numb, and like they're dead. I can't move them. And you could feel that motor skill draining out of the fingers, and then your hands and your wrists and your forearms and up into the elbows. And it's like, oh my God, what's going on? And I try like mentally like force the movement back in, and I'm like, why can't I move my hands? And then it comes back a little bit, and you're like, no, it's fighting it. It's coming back again, and my legs are going numb. Anyways, this went on for until I was having a lot of trouble breathing, and I wake up now, and I'm like, holy, what the hell was that? Like, and the feeling comes back into my limbs, and my breathing restores, and I'm like, oh man, that's a that was terrifying. And I look at my watch; it's 11 a.m., and then it's like, oh God, he's gone, and he's dead. And anyways, I call, and at 10 a.m. he passed, roughly. But something still feels off. Anyways, his wife was with him when he left, and in physically with him. I found out later another family member was with him in spirit, helping him cross over and release. And I'm like, okay, I'm confused. What was the whole eyeball Vulcan mind meld thingy about before he passed? And I ended up sleeping through the big event, like some buddy, I got your back, and then I'm sound asleep when he decides to go. When I thought about it afterwards, and I thought about the sensations I was having, what I realized, or what I think I experienced, was his body death. It was rigor mortis setting into his body. I was feeling, and possibly his, he's a strong-willed man, and stubborn determination not to let go of this world and this realm, and trying to reanimate his dying flesh, like his body was dying. Anyhow, this kind of a link or interaction is, I don't really recommend to anyone. Feeling the life force drain out of your body is terrifying. Cellular death. Anyway, since then I've had two other men give me that death stare, and felt that connection, that like that was the first time, and then there's been two more instances, and both of them were like life trauma. One was on a train, the other one was in an airplane, and both of them, those guys were having strokes at the time, and thankfully neither of them died. They're One's in convalescent care. It's really awful. But it's a real mind bender, this link thing that happens. I think when you're facing death, you reach out for anybody who you can form a bond with. So everybody else is kind of running around, not paying attention. Anyhow, the second event sort of keys into this whole connection between people and minds and souls. And it's not always through genetics, and energy bonds can form and dissipate to people and places. And when you look to your guides or spirit team to help you in a crisis when your day is done, or in any other crisis, that spirit team isn't always ethereal beings. They could be friends and family members that are assisting on a living plane of connectivity. And I don't think that gets any representation in spiritual media, that or, oh, my guardian angels are helping me, or oh, my spirit team, whatever the hell that means. It could be your child or your mother or a good friend is there on some psychic level trying to help you through whatever you're going through. Anyhow, it really bothers me that people say that souls aren't real and spirits aren't real. Spoke to people who work the wards where people die, and there's something there when they're alive and it leaves when they die. How can you suggest there's no soul? Anyhow, out of this experience, the second experience is it's come up now in other places, the concept of a body soul, an organic life force that's part of the animation of us when we're alive, and we're corporal beings, and our spirit soul comes in and to live a karmic life, but it needs a host, and the host is the body, and the body has its own soul energy. And when the body dies, I think that soul energy just returns back to Gaia, because it's a little bit more mechanical, keeping all your organs going and all those processes going while your spirit has a human experience. Anyhow, the last thing I wanted to just touch on from this menagerie of personal experiences is, I think the body soul thing is a really big deal, because it explains how you can go and have out of body experiences, how you can have near death experiences, how you can go astro traveling and still be anchored in this reality that your spirit soul can leave and do things and then come back. And neither can live long term without the other. So that's key, and that's okay. So the other thing I wanted to add is, if you're going to die, understand that there is somewhere to go, and it's okay. It's loving and gentle and accepting, and there's no judgment or hell or fire, brimstone, and damnation. You might have a little bit of trouble figuring out where you fit after whatever things you've done in your life, but it's certainly not a bad place to be. And if you have an opportunity to talk to people about death, please reiterate that, because ghosts are a pain in the ass. Really, that whole stuck energy is sad and painful to experience and run into. And we need more people trying to help those souls cross over and release that trapped energy, that trapped karmic energy that's sort of between worlds. Anyhow, if you get a chance, find someone to help you speak to spirits, and it's cool. It's not terrifying. You're not going to go to hell. It's not satanic, or any of that dumb shit. Anyhow, that's all I got. That's my experience with ghosts and spirits in two parts. And next, I think I'll start talking about angels and demons, because apparently I have to restore my relationship with mine. Anyhow, thanks for joining me, and have a great day, and keep asking questions and trying to figure this stuff out. Peace.